Facebook Livers. So happy to have you here. I'm Ellen Britton. Welcome to my weekly Facebook Live event. We do this every Thursday morning, 9:45 a.m. CDT. So happy to have you with us here. We do just a short little nugget of guitar fun. We usually it's just a couple minutes long, and you can squeeze it into your day, and then you have a new guitar toy to play with. So glad you're here. So there's a couple things I want you to pay attention to. I put them in the very first comment. Two things you're going to want to make sure you notice. First of all, be sure you are signed up for my free monthly newsletter. There's a link right in there. You can sign up if you don't already get it. Keeps you up to date about classes I'm doing, events like this. Speaking of classes, the second thing in that first comment I want you to see is that we are doing a Zoom class next week. We do a Zoom class once a month on some particular focus topic on the guitar. Our August Zoom class is next Wednesday evening, August 26th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. CDT. And we're going to learn a bunch of songs by Grammy-winning artists. That's going to probably be somebody like Merle Haggard and the Beatles and Taylor Swift and Casey Musgraves, Ed Sheeran. Those are the kinds of artists I'm talking about. Every one of them has won probably multiple Grammys. So we're going to learn a bunch of songs. That's next Wednesday. There's a link in that first comment. You can click that and sign up on Eventbrite. So anyway, hope that you will join us. Meanwhile, today what we're going to do is we're going to take a basic power chord fingering and move it all around the neck of the guitar and get a whole buttload of chords, 12 of them to be specific. So if you have never played a power chord before and you don't know what that fingering is, you may want to scroll down on this Facebook page here to an earlier Facebook Live event where I show people that very particular fingering. You'll see me do it and you'll see what I'm doing, but there's kind of a close-up about that in an earlier Facebook Live event. So anyway, so here it is. I'm going to kind of lean forward so you can see my fingering. Right this second, I'm going to play a G power chord. So I'm taking my index finger, I'm putting it on the 6th string, 3rd fret. Maybe you know that's a G note. If you don't, now you do. So that's a G note, but the whole idea of this fingering is we're going to move it around and it's going to turn into a lot of other chords. So this is really just the starting point. Index finger here, ring finger on the 5th string, 5th fret, pinky on the 4th string, 5th fret. Now it's critically important that you not play the open strings. All I want to hear are those 3 strings, those 3 notes. Now, there's one more really important thing I want you to know about these notes you're playing with the left hand. First of all, that index finger is the root of your chord. Now, if you think you don't like music theory, first of all, you're wrong, and I'm here to correct you because it's the best thing ever. But try to set that feeling aside for a second and just let that sink into your brain. This is the root note. And we really care about that because that's the note that the rest of the chord is built on. And that's how we know what chord we have as we move it around. So if we can understand what this first note is that our index finger is creating, then we can name the chord. And I told you, we are right now on a G note here. So this is a G power chord. And if you're really careful about not playing those other open strings, you can move this anywhere you want on the neck of the guitar. So let's start by moving it around, just keeping our fingers on the same strings and sliding it. Now, some of you know that each fret on the guitar is worth a half a step. So if this is a G and we slide this party up a half step, 1 fret, that's a G sharp. And by the way, anything with a sharp name also has a flat name. So this is G sharp. And the other name for this is A flat. It's really important that you not feel fuzzy about that you are very clear that that's 2 names for the same chord. So here's my G sharp A flat, and then I go up another fret, and I get an A chord. this might be the best thing that ever happened to your guitar life, to your chord life, because look how we can move this all over and get a bunch of chords. So there's my A, another half step is A sharp, B flat, another half step is B, another half step is C. Oh, something very interesting just happened there. If you were getting ready to say that this is B and that's B sharp, you better think about that again and notice that we go right from B directly to C. They are only a half step apart. And we need to know that, otherwise all our notes are thrown, all our chords and our notes, and our whole world is thrown off. So we need to notice that's a weirdo little thing. Don't ask me why. Whatever the reason is, it happened like hundreds of years ago. So we just have to deal with it. B, C. That's just the way it is, okay? Etc. So look what we can do. So just by sliding this power chord fingering up and down on the same strings, okay, so the bottom 3 strings of my guitar, I know they're near the ceiling, but they have a low sound, so we call them the bottom strings. So just by sliding that around, that fingering around, I can get, watch all the chords I can get. This is just with my, what we would say is the root is on the 6th string. And some other day we'll talk about the root on the 5th string. Can you do that? Yes, you can. So if you're feeling adventurous, you can explore that. Right now, let's focus on the root being on the 6th string, okay? So this fingering we've been playing here today, let's slide it as far down as we can without falling off the guitar. So my index finger is on the 6th string, 1st fret. That's an F power chord right there. So it's F, F sharp, also G flat. Don't cheat yourself of that learning by not calling it by both names, the sharp and the flat name, because you're going to need both names. So F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, oh, did you remember what I said before? C. Woo! That's weird. And yet, that's the way it is. So B, C, C sharp, D flat, D. Look how many chords I've got. Now, at some point, I'm going to kind of run out of room, because unless you have a cutaway, in which case you're cooler than I am and you can get up higher on the neck. But basically, you can keep moving up as far as you can move your hand. And if you keep track of the note that that index finger is making, you will be able to name the power chord that you have. And you can slide around. Oh, that's fun. That's even more fun. Back. All right, you're a rock star now. It's official. So I don't know how you're going to break that news to your mom, but she'll get over it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope I see you next Thursday morning, and frankly, every Thursday morning for the rest of eternity, as long as we're doing these little Facebook Live, little nuggets of guitar fun. That's what I call them. If you've got a request for anything that you would like to have me focus on, I would love for you to leave me a comment. Let me know what you're interested in. I really hope you'll think about joining us next Wednesday evening for our Zoom class. Wednesday, August 26th, 6:30 p.m. CDT. Grammy Hitmakers. It's going to be fun. I mean, they won Grammys. They know what they're doing. So anyway, meanwhile, stay in the groove.